If you run a local business and you feel like nobody can find you on Google, you're probably right, but it's not your fault. It's usually just a handful of small things working against you that you can't even see or don't even know exists. So I had someone reach out to me, a local excavation company that does great work, has reviews to prove it, but he asked me to check out his website to see why it wasn't bringing in calls for him. He said it was cool for me to share this, so that's exactly what we're going to do. So in this video, I'm going to go through his entire site and show you what I found. And honestly, the stuff I found is the same stuff I find on most local service businesses' websites. So if you own one, stick around because there's a good chance that you have some of these same problems on your own site. Let's take a look. All right, so here's the site, looks good, looks clean enough, right? Looks fine. You don't need anything too crazy. Like, this is great. But one thing that, might be really easy to miss is watch this tab right here when I click through. So right now, dirt dirt work, grading, excavation. Okay, so I'm going to go to the about page. Same exact thing. Contact page. Same exact thing. And I'll even go to, because I know he's got some service pages here, so let's go to the excavation page. Same exact thing. So the problem with this is the first thing Google reads when people, are searching. So Google doesn't know that these are all different pages and that they have different information on them. Google doesn't know that he offers trenching, pulse hole digging, above ground pool pads, window well excavation. Google doesn't know, so Google can't recommend you. The next thing is how I said that I knew that the services were here because I went through the whole page, but your casual visitor doesn't know that. So he offers excavation, trenching, pulse holes, etc., above ground pools, window wells. But up here, he's only got home, about, and contact us. We should have a whole services drop down, or at least a tab here to go to a services hub page that then sends people to all their services. The bottom line is people have to scroll just to find what your services are. All right, and number 3. So this one's a little more technical, I guess, but it's actually super, super important. So I'm gonna go to the excavation page. So this headline right here is super, super important. There's a lot of missed opportunity here. So instead of excavation, we should be looking at, excavation services in the Lehigh Valley, or something like that, because that's where he's located. So same thing. Let's go to post holes. The whole title of the page is just post holes. It should be post hole digging services or something along those lines. So it's great that we have a get a quote. That's all good. But the problem is, I don't think the problem is people contacting him when they get to his website. I think the problem is people finding his website to begin with. All right, so this is where I'm gonna go under the hood a little bit, and I'm gonna run the website through an audit tool that I have. This is actually my audit tool, not to plug or anything, but we're gonna run a full site audit. All right, so this is what's going on with his website. And I want to point out that this is not a knock on him. This is not a knock on his business at all. This is a problem that I see in a number of local businesses, especially home service businesses. Your online presence and your website tend to be an afterthought. I get it because you're focused on doing the work. But if people can't find you online, that work is going to be harder and harder to come by over time. So that's why this is really important, and that's why we're going to go through this. So a few things I'm going to touch on. Search is an F. This goes back to some of the things that I pointed out before with the duplicate titles on pages and the H1 headings not holding their weight. But this is going to be the one thing that I talk about a lot. Schema markup, FAQ content, question-based content, and review, rating, and data schema. So let's start with review and rating schema. So the problem with not having this is a type of code that you want to have in the back end of your website that tells Google that you have a star rating when people search for you. Because yes, you have it on your Google business profile, but you need to reference that on your website as well. So that way when Google is more likely to recommend your website as well as your Google business profile, not just one or the other. FAQ and question-based content. This is big for being recommended by Google and AI. When people search questions or ask AI questions, you need to be the one answering those questions for AI and Google to reference. So I think that kind of, speaks for itself. I already touched on the heading structures. 6 pages have no main H1 heading, and the ones that do are very, very light. And this goes back to the duplicate page titles. Like I said, this little line up here that doesn't change from page to page. Now, there are obviously other things going on here, but those are really, really the big things. Those are the things that are really, really holding this site back from being found on Google when people search for his services. So that's it. And honestly, his site really isn't in bad shape compared to most. These are the same problems I find on almost every local business website that I look at. Duplicate listings, hidden services, reviews missing in search, pages that all look the same to Google. None of this is that hard to fix. It's just stuff that nobody ever told you to look for. If you want me to take a look at your site and show you what's holding you back the same way I did here, drop a comment or send me a message. I do these for local guys all the time. No hard pitch, I'll just tell you what I see, but if you do want help fixing these issues, I'd be happy to talk about that too. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.